This really looks like a Sabbath, but cheaper and it's good. And I mean it. This really is the best true wireless earbuds from KZ yet. So let's talk about all the reasons why after the intro. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here, and today we're taking a look at the KZ-S2, a successor to the KZ-S1, which doesn't look all that different, well, at least on paper. It still uses AAC, and USB-C is still here, and the design stays pretty much the same, but you've got some little improvements here and there. You'll realize there are a lot of ways this KZ-S2 improves upon its predecessor. And before talking about that, I tell you right here and now, this is the best true wireless earbuds you can get for under 30, but provided that you can get this for under 30. So the KZ-S1 has had the crown for a very short time then, or it might just take the crown again because this price will shoot up. So let's talk about the pricing of the KZ-S2 real quick here. Until about the next 2 weeks since the release of this video, this thing will be exclusive on Indiegogo. And I actually missed the super early bird price where it was actually 29 bucks. But still, they have the 2-pack bundle if you want that kind of pricing, provided that you can figure out what to do with the other one. But 35 bucks is actually not that bad too. We'll talk about how it actually compares to the KZ-Z1, which goes at 35 bucks as well. But the real problem here is after that campaign ends, Linsol told me that the price will shoot up to 50 bucks, 49 bucks to be exact. And that's a price point where I start to demand more. Without the QCC3020 chip, its battery life will stay at pretty much below 5 hours guaranteed. And obviously no aptX support. And yes, there's gaming mode, but it's still not great. Maybe it still undercuts the Sabbath A12 Ultra and you have valid reasons why you would get this over that. But feature wise, there are also valid reasons why you would spend more to get Sabbath instead of this. Or maybe Impao T5. So I think I'll change the title later on when the pricing change. But what you have to know right now, KZ-S2 is a great true wireless earbuds at 30 bucks. 35 bucks, yes, but not so much at 50. So see if you can get any discounts to lower that price down. Just a couple more things that I have to mention before we start onto the video is this is provided by Linsol, but all the opinions here are my honest opinions. And I warn you, I haven't even recorded the entire thing, but I feel like this would be a pretty long video. That's because I want to cover as much as I can. So if you appreciate that, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let's start talking about the most important thing, the sound quality. Compared to the KZ-S1, this is actually a step backwards on the vocal clarity, but at the same time, it's a huge step forward in terms of the low end.
The low end dignity there, I say.
Of course, KZ being KZ, vocals are still kept at a good clarity level, but now for you guys who demand bass, the impact here is miles better compared to the KZ-S1, surpassing even the Transmart Spunky Beat. The low end has more noticeable rumble and presence, and I can say it's on par with the excellent KZ-Z1. So they really have upgraded their dynamic driver here, just like what they said in their marketing material. Okay, now let's talk about the frequency ranges. The highs are a bit more controlled, so you still get that cymbal sounds when you need to, but most of the time it's not the focus anymore. And that's a good thing for many. A lot of trebles in the music may sound more detailed, but it's more fatiguing. So compared to the KZ-S1 or Spunky Beat, I actually still prefer the vocals there, but things turn around when we talk about the other frequencies. The mids and the low end have much more depth in the KZ-S2. Songs like Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson, the bass has more oomph while still not sacrificing much of Michael's vocal clarity. That applies to Don't Stop Me Now as well. Every drum kicks has much more impact into your ear, and of course this will do well in EDM songs like Stay by Zed. Also, I hardly mentioned this, but Forever in Love by Kenny G Not so much difference on both the highs and the lows compared to the other earbuds. The instruments came out clear and clean. Also, if you notice that volume bar right here, I found a sweet spot to be at 60%. The vocals are much clearer at that point compared to listening at 50% or lower. Alright, now to the thing that I want to talk about so much, how does this sound compare to the KZ Z1? The answer is, this is still a different kind of beast. As I've said before, the KZ-S2 has the bass impact similar to Z1, it's great. But the vocal clarity of the Z1 is even better than the S1 or Spunky Beat. The whole soundstage felt wider, and listening to this feels more alive. I truly love the sound out of the Z1 despite its terrible battery life. But there's no denying that the KZ-S2 is a good balance of things for a lot of people. The dynamic driver now really focuses pumping out the bass, and the balance armature fills the upper end. I feel like this is what the KZ-S1 should be in the first place. But anyway, now that it's here, it's a successor to the KZ-S1. It's got much better soundstage than that, and I also think it has a better overall sound than the Transmart Spunky Beat without the touch sensitivity issues. Now, let's talk about the build quality and fit. The earbuds took some design cues from the KZ-Z1, as you can see on the protrusion on the top here. Maybe you don't notice it in the photos, but it still kept its roots on the KZ-S series, where the downside here is not depressed as much as the KZ-Z1. That depression secures the earbud on your outer ear here. So it's an improvement over the KZ-S1. It fits better than that with this protrusion and also with the upgraded included ear tips, but it's not as good as the KZ-Z1, which has more of a sculpted design here. I'm really a fan of how this thing is designed. But I don't know, what do you think about it? Do you like the Sabbath more, this more, or probably maybe the Halo more? One thing to say for sure is gone are the days of having two pairs of flimsy ear tips included in the box. These KZ-S2 comes with 3 pairs of rounded rectangle shaped ear tips, just like what you'll find on the KZ-Z1. And I found them to work well enough blocking outside noise and provide a good seal for your music while not being too too blocking. Yeah, anyway. Moving on, it's still equipped with metal tip and mesh, which is always great to see. And now, while we have an official IPX5 water resistant rating, we still have the huge cutouts up top here and down here without any mesh on them. So I'm not really sure here, but IPX5 is just sweat resistant, right? You don't want to take a shower with these. Definitely. And I also want to mention this one design choice that is an improvement over the other KZ earbuds. It's this textured circular KZ logo in the middle. That's the only place where it detects touch, and now you know exactly where to tap, unlike before. It's a small thing, and you probably may have mistaken this for a physical button before, but I think it's an important change. Now, moving on to the case, we can see a lot of things here are improved. I hate to say this, but it seemed like they removed the USB-C on their cheaper S1 and S1D because they want the USB-C on the KZ-S2 to be a selling point. But don't take my words too seriously, I'm not the one who designed this. At least what we get here is an excellent small case. It's pretty much on par with a Sabbath E12 case. Well, I mean, it's still a little bigger, but now you can pocket this just fine. It's pretty much the same height as the KZ-Z1, and we know this is at pretty much the same height as the very small too much KZ talk, the Halo GT1 Plus or Halo GT1. So now that the size is great, it also has this matte black finish or white color that honestly will reflect light better than the KZ-S1 and S1D, so it will not look as cheap, which is good, and it also won't scratch easily if you compare that to a Sabbath case. There's a button on the back which you can press anytime you want to check the battery level. The LED is inside of the lid, so you have to open it, and it's green, orange, red to see the battery inside the case. Speaking about the lid, it's very solid actually, and although it's made out of plastic, but you've got this chrome finish here which honestly looks like Sabbath's, but it's solid and it has a nice snap. Oh, can you see that? Even if you can see here, I'm trying to push this down, it stays open, which is very cool. That is not possible on the Sabbath. The Sabbath easily closes, so this is a plus side to the KZS2. Lastly, and weirdly enough, the USB-C port is at the bottom of the case and it's vertical. So yeah, I won't complain. Okay, talking about the battery inside, the case has 400 milliamp hour battery now, so it should last you a good 5 to 6 days depending on your use. And the earbuds itself has 40 milliamp hour, and KZ claims it to last 4 hours. Don't forget to check my Twitter at testedbyken to know the full test of this one. And so far, just like the KZS1, they wanted this to have good enough battery, which unfortunately is not good enough for 50 bucks, but at least it's not a deal breaker like the KZZ1. We've talked through a lot of things now. Before checking the latency and the call test, let's talk about the controls a little bit here. You'll see the controls up here, and the improvement over the S1 is that you have a voice prompt saying high performance mode on or standard mode whenever you toggle gaming mode on and off. It's a much needed improvement over the S1, but sadly, it still does not perform up to the standard set by QCYT5 or Halo GT1 Pro. At least it's still better than a QCC 3020 chip earbuds if it's priced at $50, and you have to compare with the other earbuds. Most of them use QCC 3020 chip. But if you want to really have an earbuds to game, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this over the QCYT5. You may have noticed here, but there is still no volume control. And if you want this to compete with other 50 bucks earbuds, it's hard to recommend this because literally every other 50 bucks earbuds that I've checked have it. And yes, I understand maybe KZ wants consistency here. Let's say if I want to put volume control on hold gesture, you have to sacrifice the consistency of triple tap to gaming mode, because maybe the triple tap on the right side will be gaming mode only and triple tapping on the left will be Siri or voice assistant. But I will take that control any day compared to earbuds that has non-volume control. So please KZ, can you do that? Otherwise, the touch sensitivity here is spot on as always. It's even better with the textured logo here, and I absolutely have no problem with the connectivity. Alright, let's check out the latency test with gaming mode on and off, and call test after that.
Mention that 50% is very loud. I cannot listen to it indoors. There's no way I can listen to it. I was thinking maybe if I lower the volume, the battery will improve, right? Wrong. I put it at 25% with Siri, and shockingly, same time. So that made me wonder, maybe we just cannot improve the battery life here at all.
Okay, onto the call test. Right now I am indoors, and let's see how the KZS1 performs. You're listening to my iPhone 10 microphone currently. I'm gonna take both of the earbuds out,
says turn on, and also the left side. So that should be the main earbuds here. Gonna snap a little bit here so you can identify which mic is being used currently. And this is how the KZ-S2 sounds inside. Let's check out how it sounds outside. And generally, in my opinion, KZ has been pretty good. Alright, so right now we are outside, and yes, I'm walking backwards because the wind is blowing that way. So we're gonna do a little quick wind test here when I face that way. So this is how it sounds, KZ-S2 outside. In my experience, the KZ earbuds has always been pretty good, and especially this one should be even better, or maybe they have been implementing this for a while because these have CPC noise cancellation technology, just like the QCC3020 chip earbuds. All right, so let's check out the wind test real quick here. I'm gonna face back. 3, 2, 1. Okay, can you hear that? All right, so that's it. Let's go back upstairs and finish the video.
All right, summary time. The KZ-S2 is a great sounding, fitting, and built true wireless earbuds for $35 now. I feel like the KZ-Z1 is still better at every aspect of that, but the battery sucks. So I'm happy to find out that the KZ-S2 is a good middle ground, and it is now my top #1 earbuds to recommend if you can stretch that budget of $30 up to $35 or even $40. But at $50 retail price, it still has a superb build, has latency that's better than other aptX earbuds out there with the gaming mode on, but it's not as good as the much cheaper QCY T5, and most importantly, the 4-hour battery life, the lack of extra features like volume control, wireless charging, aptX, and some of the earbuds at this price can last 6 to even a beastly 10 hours of playtime. It feels like a jack of all trades at that price, and it's a much harder recommendation. I'm sorry. So that's pretty much it for the video. If you have watched until the very end, I'd like to say thank you so much. I made so much mistakes here that usually I finish the whole script in like 20-25 minutes, but now it's like almost 1 hour for me. So yeah, I hope this video helped. If you are still on the verge of choosing which earbuds to get, I wholeheartedly recommend the KZ-S2 right now if it's still selling around 30 up to 40 bucks. At 50, I think it would be better for you to wait for a sale, or maybe other options like MiZone or Wizard B6, Bowmaker CFI, and MPOW T5 might be a better option. I have to check that out later. Okay, that's pretty much it for the video. I'll end it right here. Don't hesitate to put your questions down in the description below. What do you think about the KZ-S2 or the KZ earbuds in general? And feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You can directly ask me right there. I'm working on a ton more earbuds right now. I cannot reply to every comment like I used to, so sorry for that. I will have a graduation exam coming soon, so good luck to me. I'll still try to reply to your questions as much as I can though. So thank you so much for your support. All links down in the description below. I'm Kenneth, and I will see you in the next video. Sampai jumpa.